Alright, so I'm going to start making these videos with weekly updates about some stuff I find every week that I find completely crazy. So here we go. This week there's some good stuff. I'm going to give like 5 stories here that I found that I really wanted to share. So the first one is what's going on with Chrissy Tiegan. If you don't know who Chrissy Tiegan is, she's married to John Legend, who's a famous musician. And essentially what she has been doing for the past years is acting holier than thou and kind of putting down people anytime they say something wrong and all this stuff. Anyway, it came out that she has these extremely disturbing tweets about pedophilia. And we're not talking about like 1 tweet, 2 tweets. She has many of these tweets. They're very disturbing. I'm going to read some of them to you. Seeing little girls do the splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. During Pizzagate, she made these kind of weird references to pizza. I'm going to jail over pizza. It always weirds me out how strong little toddlers' tummies can look, and I'm aware of how absolutely disturbing that sounds. Okay, this one's just super weird. A belly and a shirt with a small sexy toddler on it saying, number 1, duh. What does a guy wear to a toddler's and tiara party? What the fuck are these tweets? Excuse my language, but this is really disturbing. She has more of these. Anyways, she started getting backlash over this, which is justified, but also funny because she started acting like the victim immediately. She deleted 30,000 tweets. She blocked over 1 million Twitter followers. She started saying she's a victim. How dare everyone make these conspiracy theories? This is her tweets. They're screenshots from her page. They're real. But now people are linking her to the Jeffrey Epstein thing. I don't really care whether that's true or not true. These tweets are definitely from her. And it's very disturbing. And for someone who was out preaching and acting holier than thou, for you to have a bunch of pedophile tweets and thinking it's funny, you can't preach cancel culture and then do that kind of stuff. So that's the first thing that is very odd this week that came out. The next one is arguably one of the most insane things I've ever heard in my life. And this one is definitely the most out there that I'm going to share right now. But here we go. The National Museum of African American History. This is what they just released and said. Valuing hard work, being polite, objectivity, all aspects of whiteness. They went further than this and said the nuclear family, the two-parent family household is an object of whiteness. Anyone who actually believes this is a racist. Anyone believes that white people have a lockdown on a nuclear family, on having 2 parents. Anyone who believes that white people have a lockdown on being polite or being hardworking. This is insane to say this. For an African American Museum of History to come out and say that, that's insane. That's the most insane thing. And it's odd that it's being defended. I mean, I watched Charlie Kirk and this woman actually having a debate over it, and he had the right point. He basically said, if you believe that hard work is being able to work hard and being polite is attributed to skin color, then you are a racist. I mean, it's so odd because these are things you would have seen from white supremacists back in the day. You would have heard white supremacists say that, yeah, black people don't work as hard. Black people aren't as polite. That it is a genetic thing. That's something that a white supremacist would say, but it's coming from essentially the African American Museum of History. It makes no sense. These are hard for me to kind of give critique on just because these are things that are so crazy, and to see people defend them, which I have, I don't even know how to begin to break this down. I think just me reading it, essentially at this point, is all that needs to be said for it to prove that it doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're watching this and you believe that hard work comes from whiteness, chances are you're a racist, whether you're black or white. I mean, you've somehow been convinced that minorities can't work hard. I don't even know. I don't know how to get into this one. This one is gone for me. This next one is also pretty crazy. So essentially now Doctors Without Borders has been accused of racism. Now, what do I mean by this? Doctors Without Borders is a group of doctors who pro bono go to other countries, and they essentially predominantly go to very poor countries, some of which are predominantly black, and they work in these countries to try and affect change, try and do surgeries, try and help people who are sick, and they do it out of the goodness of their heart. These are doctors who are working for free, traveling across the world, putting themselves in danger in some cases, to try and help people. I feel it's super important to mention, but here is the words of the president of the Doctors Without Borders, the International Board of Doctors Without Borders. He questions how widespread incidents of outright racism are across the organization. He says there is no question the organization is built on a problematic model, essentially the idea of the white savior. The white doctors going and providing assistance to people there in Africa, and especially to little African kids. Now, this is insane. These are doctors who are going to travel to other countries without making any money to help people who need help. I highly doubt that these doctors perceive themselves as the great white savior and are doing it because it's little black kids, and that there's some negative intention here. And what is the alternative exactly? To not send doctors to Africa to help kids because they're white and they're helping black kids? This train of thought actually is detrimental. With this train of thought, the inevitable result is not sending doctors to Africa to help kids because the doctors may be white and the kids may be African, and therefore it fits a white savior narrative. These people are insane. Cambridge has released that looking away, not holding eye contact, is racist. Now this one, I don't know how anyone could read this and not find it completely insane. For years, I've been telling my friends who stare at women for way too long that it's inappropriate. Apparently, I was racist the whole time and I just didn't know it. You should be staring as much as possible at women. Otherwise, you're a racist. I don't know how this is going to play out with people who have autism. Honestly, I really don't. Or just people who are socially awkward. I guess all autistic people who look away when they're uncomfortable and people who are socially awkward who look away when they're uncomfortable are potentially racist. Thank God I get to practice staring at my camera all day. Otherwise, I myself too would be a racist, as I get shy sometimes, believe it or not. Again, I don't have any feedback on this one. I'm just putting it out there in the world. I'm letting you know what I'm reading, and take it as you will. Again, if you believe it, if you believe that someone who does not maintain eye contact is racist based solely on that factor, you need help. Okay, I'm going to jump into this last one, and this last one is kind of upsetting for me because I'm a fan of this person's work, but Viola Davis just came out, and she said that her role in The Help was a betrayal to herself and her people. In other words, it was a betrayal to black people that she played this role that got her nominated and celebrated and helped very much launch her career into a whole other stratosphere. She was nominated for an Oscar for this. She made a boatload of money after this because of this role. This was kind of her really big launching pad to becoming a household name. And so she's not happy about it. She says if she could go back in time, she wouldn't take it. She says that. I don't know if she actually believes it. Given the opportunity, I'm pretty sure she would still do the role. But nowadays, we celebrate that kind of thing. And I actually do have a comment on this one. This is the only one here where I actually have real feedback on it. And I want to say this is a perfect example of our society celebrating victimhood and negativity. Why? Because this is an actress who has been given every opportunity in the world, has been celebrated beyond most other actors. I mean, she's in the top 0.0001% of, or 0.00001% of actors. I mean, not many people get nominated for an Oscar. Not many people continue to have a very vibrant career after that. She's had incredible roles. She has constantly been loved by her audience. Her films are reviewed wonderfully. And here she is putting down one of the things that helped build that career. Why? Because it's so appealing nowadays to be a victim. And she really doesn't have an example here where she's a victim in her career. In her career now, this is a perfect thing to point out where I shouldn't have done this. She actually refers to that film as an example of systemic racism because it's through the lens of a white person, the film. Here's my opinion on that too. We live in a predominantly white country. It's just the reality of it. 70 to 75% of viewers of TV are white. Someone made a film with a white lead. There's a lot of films with black leads. I've actually been having a lot of conversation with friends after this whole thing came out with Viola Davis, because a lot of my friends were actually saying, no, she's right. There's not a lot of diverse roles for black actors. Black actors are only celebrated when they play crappy roles or when they play black stereotypes or gangsters. And so, like, my friends started bringing up examples. Training Day with Denzel Washington. But they refused to look at the myriad of other roles that Denzel Washington played. I mean, I actually pulled up his IMDb. 99% of his roles have nothing to do with his skin color. He's actually playing positive male figures. Same thing for Will Smith. Same thing for Idris Elba. Same thing for Chiwetel Ejiofor. Same thing for Michael B. Jordan. These are not roles. Halle Berry. And then on the vice versa end, Charlize Theron was celebrated for playing an old prostitute and monster. I mean, Christian Bale was celebrated for playing a lunatic serial killer, like the most psychotic, narcissistic, disgusting human being ever in American Psycho. I mean, we do it across the board. And a lot of the time, Oscars are given to people who take the hard roles. Schindler's List with Spielberg is about someone saving Jews. It's about the white man saving Jews. No one is out there saying this is about the white savior. We understand the context of the film. We understand the history, and it's a beautiful film about a man saving Jews. much like the context of the film The Help, much like the context of any of these other films that come out. You have to be able to be a rational person and look at this and say, this actually helped propel this person's career. It's a great film. There's nothing, no one was demeaned in the making of the film. She was not a victim of racism in the making of the film. And again, she was celebrated by the entire world. People of all colors, all races, all religions were out there giving positive reviews and nominating her and celebrating her in this film. So what is the problem? Why do we have to be victims nowadays? It's so trendy to be negative. I find that insane. Anyway, these are the things that I found this week that I wanted to share with everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed them. I'm going to do this once a week just because every week there's more and more crazy stuff that comes out. The Viola Davis one for me was very interesting just because of the response I'm getting when I posted it on my Facebook for my friends to see. I was surprised. I thought everyone would be like, hey, no, this doesn't make sense. Apparently, about 50% of the people actually are sitting there arguing with me. So saying that I don't understand and that I shouldn't question her. She's a black woman and it's her opinion. And to that, I say the following. You should be able to have an opinion about anything, regardless of your skin color. Whether she's black, whether I'm black or white, whether you're black or white, it doesn't matter. Whatever race, religion you are, if you have an opinion about something, you can share it, right? Even if it offends the person, you should still be allowed to share it and have dialogue over it. That's the most important thing in society. So I'm going to close on that note. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to making many more videos.